All right, getting into our first topic here this morning, we are talking all about CrossFit. So we have pulled together a panel of CrossFit experts here, and everyone has something different to provide to our panel. First of all, who wants to answer the question of what is CrossFit? Keith, you're
I can start. I can start. Well, I mean, there's so many explanations for it because CrossFit is, by definition, a fitness program that's broad, general, and inclusive. Okay, it's, you know, you can really take the word CrossFit and take out the fit part and put in cross training, because essentially that's what CrossFit is. It's making you good at any required task in life. Okay, so when clients come into my gym, you know, we teach them how to move properly and be functional so that they can take on any required task in life. So it's a very diverse program in a nutshell.
Heather, anything you can add to this?
It's scalable for everyone, right? So you have, you know, people that are coming in that are just beginners and just learning how to move. We can modify everything down for them, right from a push-up to a sit-up to, you know, just all those body weight movements. They don't need to stack on a bunch of weight. And I think there is that myth there that people need to come in and just like kill a workout, and you don't. Like, everyone moves at their own pace, and we want people to move with proper form and technique before you start getting into those weights.
So you do start at the ground level?
You do, yeah.
We have a video question here this morning that was sent in to us, and it has to do with whether or not CrossFit is intimidating. Take a look.
To me, CrossFit seems really intimidating, and I guess the two biggest questions I have is, how do I get over that intimidation, and where do I begin?
So where do you begin if you're starting out on CrossFit?
Putting your foot through the front door.
Absolutely.
That's the first step for most people, and then you'll see, like, it's not as intimidating. People look online and they see, you know, people like Emily hitting workouts really hard, and they see that and they're like, oh, that's what CrossFit is. And I mean, that's an aspect of CrossFit, but that's not everything CrossFit is. When you come in, it's about community and being supported, right? So we have people come into our gym and they're just totally surprised that kind of everyone wants to know you, and you know, you have people come in and they take you on and they're like, here, you know, they show you the ropes and what you need to do, and there's lots of support there and stuff too. So
to add on to that, that's exactly what it is. But because CrossFit is for anybody, you could have a room full of people doing a CrossFit workout, and some of them are former elite athletes in other sports or still elite athletes in other sports. But then mixed in with that group, you have your grandmothers, your teenagers, your beginners.
Yeah.
And so it's because it's for anybody, you're going to have a room full of diverse ages.
Yeah.
And Mike, you come from a sports background, football. So what was the transition like going from performance as an athlete to CrossFit?
You know, when I finished playing football at university, I was already cross training and I'd done a lot of different things, and it just seemed that's just what I did. And then when they kind of formalized it under the title at CrossFit, I was like, wow, you can bring like-minded people who are all age ranges, all different backgrounds. Just think about that wealth of knowledge all coming together and people being able to share their experiences.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you can learn. It takes a lot of years to become an expert in any one thing, and you're bringing all that different experience and that different exposure, and it's rewarding at the same time.
yeah.
In terms of it being intimidating, especially for women, I know, because a lot of women aren't used to weight training. They're not used to barbells or hanging on a bar and trying to do a chin-up or a pull-up. But what I love about CrossFit is that for the first time, there's been a total shift in the way women approach fitness. Instead of saying, I need to lose 10 pounds by so-and-so, they're saying, how strong do I have to be to get my first pull-up? What can I do to work on to get strength instead of not like it all being focused on weight loss? So it's a very cool shift in
Body image.
Yeah, body image, positivity about, you know, our bodies, and yeah, it's really cool.
And I think I've seen that in my circle of friends too. It's no longer how much do you weigh, it's how much can you lift.
you're
We've
right.
actually changed the conversation. Have you seen that in your gym?
Yeah, definitely. I find too, you know, like when people come in, I guess my other point to it was that you can see these people hitting workouts hard online, but that's like me saying I'm going to go to the NHL tomorrow, right? Like, everyone has a starting point, and you can't expect what you see online to be what you're going to do as a beginner coming into CrossFit. Even 5 years in, like, it takes a long time to get to that point where you're doing muscle ups, pull ups, you know, clean and jerking 250 pounds or whatever the case may be, right? Like, so you just have to put your ego at the door and just take your time, right? And just know that everyone starts from the beginning, nice and easy and nice and slow.
And the goal doesn't have to be to get to an elite level or a competitive level, as it were. That doesn't have to be your goal. You know, you can set very modest goals of I want to, you know, clean and jerk 100 pounds, and that's a big accomplishment for me, right? It's CrossFit is supposed to translate into making daily tasks in life better and easier, right? It doesn't mean I have to be an Olympic level weightlifter. That's not the goal for everybody. You know, that's a very distinct side of it.
But if there's a zombie apocalypse, you could run away.
True.
You don't want to be friends with all the CrossFitters. They'll have you over the walls, right?
Absolutely.
Kim, have you seen, as a registered dietitian, have you seen a shift in people over the last couple of years as to how they work out?
In terms of the activity they're doing?
Yeah.
I can't honestly say I have, but what I do really love about what I'm hearing at the table is this emphasis on health and performance and focusing on the individual versus body weight and, you know, how we look. And I think that nutrition can play a really big role in helping to support anybody who's an exercise enthusiast, whether you're, you know, just starting a new program or an athlete. Nutrition can play a really important part of giving you the energy to get to work and then get to your workout, or vice versa, go for your workout and then pull off an 8-hour day afterwards. So
yeah, and that's what I love is people are actually fueling their bodies now instead of, you know, starving.
Absolutely.
It's great. You can actually eat now, and
it's a much more positive and healthy focus. Yeah.
So as far as, we have actually a Twitter question, and we sort of answered it a little bit, but somebody is asking us, do they have intro classes, and would you recommend jumping into those? So you guys offer intro classes.
Yeah, we have a basics program. So we do privates, one-on-ones with new people coming into the gym learning, so that we can have a coach working with that person one-on-one for a certain amount of sessions and teaching them the technique and the form before you let them go into class, where, you know, they're not, I mean, you're supervised in class and you have a coach coaching you, but you can't have your eyes on 10 people all at the same time. It's, you know, so you have to have that trust that they're moving properly before you let them go into a class. So
absolutely, and because CrossFit includes so many different aspects of fitness, one of the major components is gymnastics, for example, and a lot of us haven't done gymnastics since we were in maybe grade school. So we forget how to move properly and how to, you know, do somersaults and even sit-ups. And so when new people come into the gym, we want to make sure that that they know how to do these movements. And a lot of people haven't lifted a barbell before, right? And we do a lot of barbell work. So it's important that we teach them how to handle these pieces of equipment properly and how to handle their bodies properly before they go full scale.
And Mike, starting out slowly, is that good for injury prevention a little bit from your side of things?
Absolutely. One of the biggest problems that I see as a physio is that a lot of people dive into doing too much too quick. You're doing complex movements and you're lifting a lot of weight, and sometimes you need to do a little bit of homework before you get to that point. I use an analogy when I'm talking to people, and when you build a house, you can build a house on a muddy bog. It looks good when it starts, but then after a few years, you know, the cracks start to happen. Or you can build a house on solid ground. So, you know, trying to do good technique and good form and promoting good posture, those intro classes are really important to set the right stone as you go forward, and it's a good thing that CrossFit offers that.
And I think it's like diving into anything. It's all about moderation. I mean, you see this in yoga, you see this in any kind of fitness regime, people going too hard too soon. And it's all about checking your ego at the door, relaxing and being like, okay, this is going to be a process. It's a work in progress. I'm not going to be amazing overnight, right?
I always tell people when they start their workouts, it's like, I don't want you to go home and go, oh my God, I'm never going back again because I can't lift my hands above my head. I want you to go back and I want you to go home and be like, wake up the next morning and be like, all right, that was cool. I know I can do a little more, you know, and those are good stepping stones rather than killing yourself and not being able to.
The goal at our gym in particular is we just want people to feel good. So when they come in, maybe after a long day, they've had a crappy week, I want them to leave the door feeling awesome about themselves. That's the goal.
And speaking of progressions, you've actually, Emily, progressed quite a bit, because we're talking about very ground level things here, but you've actually competed in the CrossFit Open. And tell us a little bit about your background.
So I was a university basketball player. I was, I was all right. I was a defensive player. I was more into the leadership side. I could hit a few threes here and there. But at the end, so then I finished my basketball career, and I realized that really what I love to do is push myself and to push other people and to inspire. and CrossFit was just like playing football. It's kind of a natural progression for me. And when I first started, I couldn't do a pull-up. You know, I could barely do a push-up, and so I just took my time and really worked hard at the little things. And so now I'm competing in this CrossFit business, and it's on the competitive side. It's definitely not easy, that's for sure.
But you're good at it.
So the CrossFit Open, Keith, maybe you want to take this one. What is the CrossFit Open?
So the CrossFit Open is the first stage of the eventual CrossFit Games, or the World Championships as it's otherwise known. But the CrossFit Open is one of the only opportunities for anyone in the world to participate. You don't have to do CrossFit per se to enter the CrossFit Open. It's open for worldwide registration, and a workout is released once a week for 5 straight weeks, and it's about doing the workout to the best of your ability, scaling it if necessary, getting a score, and holding yourself accountable and marking your score online. I mean, there's 260,000 people that signed up for the CrossFit Open this year worldwide. Eventually, 40 will go to California for the finals? 40 men, 40 women, something like that?
It's 35 now.
It's only 30.
Regardless, the number is completely, it's really small. So the CrossFit Open is just an opportunity for everyone to be a part of something and be a part of this great community. It's not about making the finals, making the World Championships for 99% of the people.
And so you and I are both competing. We have B-roll from our workout from last weekend that I think we'll show. But you're hoping to qualify again this year for regionals.
Regionals will be at the end of May, and then they're taking the top 5 females from there to go on to the games. So, yes, I'll be working my ass off.
And regionals, talk about a bit more about what part of the stage that is for the eventual finals.
So it's top 20 from Canada West, top 20 from the Pacific Northwest area. We're going to meet in Seattle, and it's a weekend of very intense workouts, different, testing different fitness levels. And it's really tough. I'm going to be really sore, but it's all worth it to get to the games.